Welcome back to Chasing Chips Podcast. Brought to you by the Los Angeles Clippers. No, I'm playing. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm Charles here with Josh. Things we're going to get into is KD's injury. We ain't got a chance to rap about that. I know Josh is a little bit of concern, but not too concerned. He thinks it's a good thing. So he'll explain it a little bit. And we're going to talk about Jokic and all this stuff that's going on all around the MVP voting and what's going on and all the controversies it's causing. For one, we could talk about what you're doing. What are you doing right now? It's like there's this sound that I'm hearing in my ear. Oh, you rolling.
I'm rolling a joint.
So yeah, pretty much get right into it, man. I mean, I want to know how you feeling about this whole KD situation. You know, he slipped while driving to the hoop for a layup during warm-ups, and it looked like an old man type of thing that happens to people that are fragile. But is he fragile or is he just unlucky?
Maybe a little combination of both, but I think he's definitely fragile. And I think we knew this going in, that there was an element of risk. So anyone that's like surprised that he's getting hurt is, Barry. Dude, you drink water so loud. Jesus. This is my dog. But yeah, he got hurt on a freak accident. You never want to see it. I think we're just like being extra cautious though, because I think we all know that Kevin Durant is a plug and play kind of player. Like when he's playing, is a top 5 MVP candidate. The problem is that he hasn't had enough games to even be in the conversation, but the talent level is top 5 MVP when he's on the floor. And I feel like he has no issues. I mean, you saw it. Like, he just hopped into the Suns rotation and was killing it. He had like a game-winning basket, just the few days ago. And he's going to be great. I am a little concerned with how other players will adjust to him, not necessarily him adjusting to other players. But there's pros and cons to this. I think the good thing is that we're going to get some reps for other players that otherwise wouldn't get to see minutes, that many minutes at least.
That makes sense.
So maybe it's some more run for Josh Okogie, more run for Ish Wainwright, Torrey Craig, those type of players, which I'm for. And yeah, but it's also not great. Like I'm not gonna lie to myself and be like, oh, this is a good thing, but because it's not. So
yeah, I think
we're just being overly cautious with the 2 or 3 weeks. I think he finished his workout. If anyone doesn't know that, he did finish his workout and he looked fine. But, this is an investment. We got to remember that. KD is an investment. Like, we don't just like, we're not worried about just this year. This year is important, but it's not the only thing we're focused on.
I'm going to give you a little insight on Josh. Now, he's never just worried about this year. This man's already moved on from this year. He was hitting me up talking about how, what are we going to do next year? How are we going to keep Chris Paul? Is we going to let Chris Paul go? He should take a pay cut. Oh, you know who is going to be available to take Chris Paul's spot when Chris Paul leaves? Already thinking about a post Chris Paul era. He's like, oh, Damian Lillard. I was like, no, he's not leaving. Just leave that alone. Trae Young is the person that we're at top of his list now to come to the Suns after Chris Paul leaves, which is one of the randomest things in the world. But he wanted Chris Paul to take a pay cut, which we all know that's not going to happen. Nobody takes a pay cut. You at your job, you want to take a pay cut. Why should
I think half of his next year's salary is guaranteed, or maybe none of it is guaranteed. I'm not sure. I forget which one. But, it depends on if we want to win a championship or not,
Yes. And what happens if you win one this year? Does that matter?
Then I don't know, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Okay. You might want to, can you back up? You mad close to the camera. There we go. There's your forehead.
You always say that, dude.
Because you always
call me out.
You don't see it. You don't
make me feel self-conscious, bro. I'm looking at myself right now.
Yeah, you're good now. This is how you're talking. You're talking like this.
Dang. Why you gotta make me feel self-conscious, bro?
There's no self-conscious.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm just saying. I just want, as a producer, I'm trying to tell you, it's hard for me to keep talking, and you like halfway off the screen like this. Even if I just talk like this, you're annoying as well as be a viewer and be looking like, oh, I can't really see his full head. This is half off.
They ain't worried about how I look. They're worried about what I say. That's all that matters.
Well, I guess for me, is what I am worried because I have to make sure you're in the middle, in the center. You got to make sure you're good. Make sure people can see your face, see what you're saying, see the expression that you are not worried, but you are worried, which was a very weird answer to give. So there's gray area right now for the Suns. You're in the gray area.
Yeah, I'm always in the middle, you know?
Always.
I know that the Suns franchise is cursed, but I also know that we have a good shot, you know? So there might be 1 year where we're able to finish it off. I don't know.
Yeah. And
I think we're still in a good position.
And that's what happens when you are fans of the teams we're fans of. We're fans of, I'm a Clippers fan. He's a Suns fan. We're part of a franchise where we have really high moments, but we have some really incredibly low moments. Like, so for you to be still like believe in your team, you have to always have the cup half full mentality. You always have to be like, all right, there's always hope. And I get made fun of all the time for this hope. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about how I think Russell Westbrook's going to work and all the things, I get trashed in every group chat. I get trashed on here by you saying it's not going to work. I get trashed at work for saying it's not going to work. But I can't feed into that. I have to believe it's going to work, or I'm just going to be sitting in the dumps, sad and alone, thinking it's never going to happen. But I believe.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to talk to a pity party, you know? No one wants to do that shit. So I mean, we're a fan. Like, I'm not gonna sit here like when we have a good chance, I'm gonna talk shit, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna be just like, oh, you know, it's gonna be the same old story. We're gonna lose again. You know, that's like
right.
That's like a wet blanket mentality. I'm not about that.
And that's what people always push upon. I feel like us, like, y'all ain't ever gonna do nothing. Look at here. We are going to do something. We're going to be great. We're going to have a great playoffs. You think that? Do you? Like, somebody asked me, what do you think your ceiling is for the Clippers? I said, championship. They said, do you really believe that? Yes.
Well, you're probably talking to, well, let me guess. Who's the guy you're talking to? Was he a Warriors or Lakers fan?
Oh, yes, the Lakers fan.
Oh. It's like, y'all, I mean, it's like one of those things that, like, if you chose to be a Lakers fan, you know, then, you know, you're in a privileged environment. Like, you know, I'm glad that has worked out for you. And I'm glad that you chose one of the most popular franchises in basketball history. And, you know, some people, I feel like, are diehard Lakers fans, and some people just enjoy being a fan of a team that's winning. And, you know, that's your choice. I mean, that's cool, you know, whatever. Yeah. But I just, like, you know, I'd say that I have for some reason, I have surrounded myself with a lot of friends that have gone through the struggle of an NBA franchise, you know. Like, for example, I have a close friend that's a Nuggets fan. I have a close friend that's a Timberwolves fan. You're a Clippers fan. You know, I got a friend that's a Brooklyn Nets fan. Like, it's just funny. Like, it's a different type of person, I feel. And there's a level of respect as well amongst us. Like, we get it. We get it.
Well, didn't you send me a video on IG about a girl was talking about what was the video? Oh, was it the girl was like, if you're dating a guy and he's a fan of a team that hasn't won a championship, but is still a fan of the team, he is a loyal individual.
That's true. That's true. That's something about your character.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just, you know, you go keep grinding it out. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, it's like that. Unfortunately, I don't have the same circle as you. You are the only other person that I talk to that has not won a championship. Everybody I'm around, being born and raised in LA, are Laker fans. And even people I've met that outside of LA are Laker fans. You know what I'm saying? All my friends that are from Florida, you know, in Rochester, they're all Laker fans. You know what I'm saying? I got one other friend that's an Atlanta Hawks fan, and he understands sometimes, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're also from LA, so it's kind of like a little different story. And I'm from St. Louis, and there's a little bit more like, it's different because we are picking teams sometimes you're not naturally always going to pick the closest team to you. There's several ties to St. Louis, like the Hawks. They used to play in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
We also used to have an ABA team, the St. Louis Spirits, I think. Maybe not the Spirits, the Gateways, or I don't know, Spirits maybe. But back in the
First
day.
off, Spirits and Gateways for y'all name. Why Spirits?
Shut up, dude.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't pick that shit.
I understand Gateway. I want to know if they came up with Gateway before the arch was made, and then that kind of makes sense. But that's some random names. St. Louis Spirits versus
it's
the San Diego Clippers.
Romantic. It's not very exciting. Yeah. And then what else? Oh, then you got a lot of Memphis Grizzlies fans here because Memphis is pretty close, and then you got some OKC fans because Oklahoma City ain't too far. And then Chicago Bulls fans, because of Michael Jordan era.
Michael Jordan,
yeah. But I feel like St. Louis people, they don't want to be Chicago fans of anything. So there's a real reluctance to commit to the Bulls, I feel. So because we're always like the little brother, I feel, of Chicago, St. Louis is.
When it comes to basketball, not baseball. Baseball, y'all be roasting the mess at them.
Yeah, for sure. We're a baseball city.
Yeah, definitely.
Too bad I don't really watch baseball,
Yeah.
I mean,
I played the game.
It's kind of boring.
Yeah, I played
a little bit, But it was, baseball's always boring to watch to me. I don't know. I get more excited about fast-paced games,
Yeah.
Like basketball, football.
I played baseball all the way in college, and one of the main things that made it interesting was just like this stealing for me, and just like the outfield work. Like one of my favorite players growing up for baseball, and we'll get to basketball, was Kenny Lofton.
Lofton.
You had Ricky Anderson, George? What you thought mine was Ricky Anderson? Ricky Henderson?
No, is it Ricky Henderson? Didn't he used to play for the A's and get a bunch of stolen bases and stuff? That's what I thought you were going to say.
Kenny,
I don't know shit about baseball. I'm not going to pretend that I do.
Kenny Lofton was really good at stealing bases, and he was a great outfielder too. So, and it was one of those things. We're getting really off base right now, but we're just just chatting it up right now. But one of the other things that I do want to ask is, how do you feel about all this like Jokic controversy happening? Everybody just kind of fighting over how he shouldn't win the third MVP, which is completely ridiculous. He should win. He's having a great year. His team is in first. You know what I'm saying? I understand that this year.
Yeah.
But I think his animosity from the past 2 years that are coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people are mad about those last two MVPs more than this one.
Yeah, I think it's pent up passive aggression, maybe, or just like pent up anger from the previous years. Because if you're gonna take away MVP from Jokic, I wouldn't do it this year. But I don't know. There's a lot of politics involved, and there's a lot people have their own perspective on how the MVP is selected. I wish they would just like make it transparent, and they would weight the scoring, I guess, or ranking of the MVPs, like how much of the regular season matters, how much does these stats matter, things like that, because it's all subjective, I feel. And right now, this year, I think he deserves it. Embiid has a shot, I feel. But I think Embiid should have got one of the two. Like, was it a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah. So pretty much, what would be your three reasons somebody's the MVP? And that'd be consistently across the board every single season. What is the three things you're like, all right, these are the three, you need to be the best in these three things, and you are qualified to be the MVP?
Yeah, I know. Three subjective reasons I'd say is regular season wins.
Okay.
As a team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would throw in something like, what is the losing versus winning, I guess, percentage of like when you're off the court, or like what's like the plus minus when you're off the court, or like, what is the like, what's your record when they're not playing, stuff like that, just really drive home the fact that they are the most valuable player on the team, and, they struggle when the player's not on the court, which I think Jokic that's clear for him.
Third reason.
And then I'd have to say, like maybe a leader in a stat category, like I feel like you have to, there has to be a team thing. There has to be a team category. Like how is he great in a team player atmosphere? And then there has to be, is he a difference maker with his team? Like are you guys going to win without him? If no, then it's deserving. And then there has to be a player versus all players in the NBA kind of category.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I would rank, is that if he ranks high in all three of those categories, then he's the MVP for me.
That is exactly it. I think it should be like that consistently. You know what I'm saying? Team first. Right. Your team should be 1 or 2 in your division. You know what I'm saying? I mean your conference should be 1 or 2. 2 is that, like you said, plus minus has got to be crazy. Like when you're not there, they're not playing well, and when you're there, they play incredible. You know what I'm saying? And then 3 is just like points per game. You know what I'm saying? Or top 3 in at least 3 or 4 categories for me. I think probably 2 categories, like points, assists or rebounds or something like that, steals. You need to be assists. I already said that. But one of those 3-4 things, like you got to be top 2 in like one of those like fields. I feel like those are the things that kind of should be consistent. And this year for Jokic is that. He is that guy. He is. If he's not on the floor, they're not the greatest in the world. When he is on the floor, they're fantastic. He's leading a lot of categories. He's scoring a bunch of points. He's having triple doubles all the time. He helps his team. But when it comes to this conversation, when he won the first one, we all thought it should have been Giannis. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why Giannis didn't win it was people were talking about he didn't do it. He hasn't won a chip yet. He all this stuff about why he wasn't deserving of 3 in a row. That's what we were talking about. They made up something not to give him the award. And then the second year could have been up for grabs. Embiid was playing well, but he missed more games than Jokic. Yes, Embiid's team record was better, but Jokic's usage rate was better. So it was one of those things.
That's why Devin Booker probably should have just won last year. It would have made everything okay. There would have been less drama this year. Jokic would be the clear favorite. And I think it's all about, whenever someone is explaining why someone didn't get it, it's all subjective. It's all like, how can I spin this narrative to create content and monetize what I'm saying? I don't know. Everyone's always like, and it's funny. And I always go back to like the sports media talent that they will pick a element or a narrative, and then they will just be relentless with that one storyline. There's some guys like, Nick Wright that is against the whole advanced stats kind of thing. I feel like he's always bringing that up and always making comments about it. And he's kind of created an identity for that narrative or for that spin, and then Kendrick Perkins is the same way with like his selections in the beginning of the year. Like he is picked the Sixers to be, I think, going out the East or maybe the Celtics but anyways, he's said clear that Embiid is the MVP and he just will not get off that train, and it's just relentless, and it's sometimes illogical, and they don't like see it from the other side. They're just driving home that like, oh, I'm right.
I mean, they have to. I mean, you have a choice. You have a choice to make a decision, and you want to stay on that. Some people don't want to change their mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Whatever happened to like neutral sports media? Like whatever happened to like
what neutral? Where do you live? Do you live in the United States? When is it?
Who does that?
Sports? Who? No. Like when has sports media ever been neutral?
Well, I mean, neutral with a grain of salt. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, neutral where you're like, the only thing neutral about sports, what they used to do is that they used to make reporters not let people know if they were a fan of the team or something like that.
Right,
so
and that's
you
what
wouldn't
I'm saying.
be biased. But
right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like it's swayed to more opinionated sports journalism.
Yes, because
and just
the society we're in right now, people love to yell at people for being wrong or yell at people for being right. You know what I'm saying? They want to get that energy of argumentative energy to go back and forth about what's going on. I mean, we've gotten that note. Like some people have told us we don't argue enough. You know what I'm saying? on here. Sometimes we agree with each other too much, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's what comes back to the whole, like, you know, our franchises are very similar.
Yeah, we're like-minded people. It is what it is. I'm not on here like
we're level-headed, I feel.
Yeah. And we have to be. There's nothing we can do. But so that's why when I look at it, I'm like, I understand where people are coming from about the Jokic thing, but that animosity just to take away his MVP because of what the voters did the last 2 years is not his fault. Again, it is not his fault that people want to keep picking. He does not care about the MVP. He said multiple times he does not care about this award. He wants a chip because that's what matters. You win a 3 in a row and you don't get no chip at the end of that road. It don't matter. It really don't. We've seen it before. The argument about LeBron and Jordan always comes down to one thing: chips. Who won more chips? That's the one thing everybody always tries to know. Jordan was 6 for 6. LeBron lost many times. But they're both GOATs. Jokic is doing a great job, and he's going to win again. So